Shabbat Shalom! So nice to see everyone. Between COVID and babies, it's been a little bit since I've been here in person at Sukkot Shalom. So it's wonderful to be bringing in Shabbat with you all. We'll start, as we often do, with a nigun, a yai lai lai. I invite you to join me in singing. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la 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 lai lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la 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 lai lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la 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 lai lai lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la 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 lai lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. La la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 lai. Yai la 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 lai lai.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is wonderful to have you joining us here with us in person, and we welcome those of you who are joining us online. We welcome in this Shabbat as we say goodbye to the holiday of Shavuot. This is the holiday where we celebrate the giving of Torah, the moment of revelation on Mount Sinai. And it's on this holiday that we think about our relationship to Torah and what it means to us as every year we relive this moment of standing at Sinai, as well as every year as we know the cycle of the Torah continues. And we start and restart it again once we get to the holidays that come at the beginning of our year, Rosh Hashanah into Simchat Torah. So I'd like to share a reading with you about Shavuot. Sinai was only the beginning. The Torah has never ceased to grow. In every age, it has been purified and enlarged. It has a permanent core and expanding periphery. It expands as the horizon of our vision grows. Nor are God's revelations confined to Israel. God has been the inspiration of the great and good among all families of the earth. God's love and guidance reach out to all the worlds. And so we think about this concept, this moment of standing at Sinai, that it not only was the people of Israel, but it was anyone who was willing to hear the words that were spoken to Moses. So we'll continue with welcoming in Shabbat with the lighting of our Shabbat candles on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlikneh shel Shabbat.
We'll turn to page 10 as we sing about a lovely day, Mayafa Hayom. How lovely is this day, Shabbat Shalom.
Mayafa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Mayafa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Mayafa Hayom. Shabbat, Shalom. Mayafa Hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
Continue on page 14, Shiru Ladonai, sing a new song unto God.
Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shir Chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru Adonai shir chadash.
On page 20, we welcome in our Shabbat bride with the words of L'chadodi.
Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mikabela. Shamor vezachor בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת מקבלה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת מקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת מקבלה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת מקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת מקבלה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת מקבלה.
On page 22, we turn to the words of Tov Lechodot, this idea of giving thanks to God. And this traditionally is a psalm that we sing on Shabbat, as well as a psalm that we would sing on a festival like Shavuot. So we'll join together in these words, page 22.
Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 Tov lehodot l'Adonai ולזמר לשמך עליון טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 לי
We're called together as one community in prayer as we rise in body or spirit for the words of the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. How do we find God? We find God revealed in the order in the physical universe, in the compassion of the human heart, and in the guiding wisdom of Torah. We praise Adonai who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We'll turn to page 34, the words of Shema Yisrael, the declaration that God is one.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
We'll continue chanting the words of Ve'ahavta, page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We'll read together in the middle of page 41. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We'll continue with words that come from our Torah, Mi Chamocha, our song of hope, redemption, and freedom, page 40.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe uMiriam, ze Elianu ve'ameru, ze Elianu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch leolam leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam leolam va'ed.
We move from our song of redemption and freedom, a celebratory song of hope, to a prayer of Hashkivenu, where we pray that God will spread over us and the entire world a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace. We'll join together on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We enter now into our tefillah, our central prayer of our Shabbat evening liturgy. We turn to page 46. You can rise in body or spirit. As we sing together, Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone Ha'akol, Vezocher Chazdei Avot V'imachot, Umevi Gegula Livnei Vanehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagein, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat Sarah.
Turn to page 52 in the middle of the page. We'll read together. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. Many generations later, redeemed from slavery, Abraham and Sarah's descendants stood at Mount Sinai. The ancient promise was to be confirmed, the ancient mandate reasserted and enlarged, the ancient covenant renewed and sealed to bind all future generations. When God revealed the Torah, no bird chirped, no fowl beat its wings, no ox bellowed, the angels did not sing, the sea did not stir, no creature uttered a sound. The world was silent and still, and the divine voice spoke, I, the Eternal, am your God. We'll pause now for a moment of our own silent reflection and meditation. We'll join together again on page 62.
In the middle of the page, the words of Yiyu Leratzon. Yiyu Leratzon, Im Refi, Vegion Libi Lefanecha, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vegoali, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vegoali, Vegoali.
We continue with our prayer for those who are in need of healing, whether it is a physical or emotional sense of healing, We hold anyone who we are thinking of in our hearts, in our minds, as we offer these words of blessing, the words of the Misha Berach on page 253.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikol HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekol habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So since earlier today and last night, we marked the holiday of Shavuot, I thought that I would teach a little bit about Shavuot this evening. What we've kind of explored a little bit throughout the service through some of our readings is this kind of lofty idea of the giving of Torah on Shavuot as this moment of reliving revelation each and every year. In a way, it's almost like this magical, mystical moment. We read about it in the Torah. We have somewhat of an understanding of what might have happened in this moment. And at the same time, it sometimes feels not so like such a tangible idea that we can hold on to. So there is an aspect of Shavuot and how the holiday really began was as an agricultural harvest holiday. This was one of the three agricultural holidays throughout the year: Sukkot, Passover, and then Shavuot. These were the three holidays that folks would bring their fruits and of their labor to the temple. And it was a very physical holiday, connected to the land, connected to the people and how they lived their lives. And I feel like today, because we don't live in an agricultural society and world anymore, Shavuot feels a little less like something we can really physically hold on to. So one of my colleagues and friends talked about how she was going to teach on the moon. The idea that we use our lunar calendar in Judaism as our guide, as the way that we know when our holidays occur according to our Hebrew calendar and according to the lunar calendar. So much is connected to the moon and where in the cycle of the moon we are. So today happens to be the 6th day of Sivan. The it is said that in the cycle of the moon, the first 7 days is when it's in its very thin crescent-like stage. And we actually learn that there's a blessing for when we first see the moon in the stage at the beginning of the month. And it's said that we can say this blessing up until the 7th day of the month. So like many of the holidays that occur in our Jewish calendar, like Rosh Hashanah, Shavuot is on the 5th and 6th day of Sivan. The 7th day, though, is when we get this marker of when the moon kind of enters into a new period, out of the crescent phase into a new phase. So the text that I brought for us to look at this evening kind of go through a little bit of a story of how the moon relates to the holiday of Shavuot and how it connects in kind of a physical and tangible way for us as we celebrate this holiday that can sometimes feel somewhat out of reach, if you will. So the first text that I brought actually comes from the book of Exodus. As you know, the book of Exodus is where we read of the Israelites' journey out of slavery and into freedom. And it happens to say in Exodus 12, verse 2, that this month shall mark for you the beginning of the months. It shall be the first of the months of the year for you. And so there's talk in the book of Exodus around the first sacrifice or offering that the people should bring. And our commentators comment that this is the moment where the Israelites actually have time that they can allot for themselves. The movement from slavery to freedom means that they're able, on their own time and on their own calendar, to live the way that they want to live. So this is a big moment in the book of Exodus where the people are essentially given permission or guidelines for how they are supposed to live according to their own calendar. And as I mentioned before, this idea of the blessing of the new moon. So we know that the months and the new months are marked by the period of the new moon. The first of the month is when the moon is the smallest, and then it grows throughout the months and then wanes as we get towards the end of the month. So we know that in our Siddur, actually, we have a prayer for when we see this moon. And I thought that this blessing was actually really beautiful. And it speaks to this physical concept of how we might be able to connect ourselves to realizing where we are in our calendar and where we might be in the holiday season. And so the text here says, "Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who with God's utterance created the heavens, and with the breath of God's mouth all their host. Law and season did God give them, that they not deviate from their set function. They are glad and rejoice to do the will of their professor, the worker of truth, whose work is true. The moon God directed to renew itself, a crown of glory to those who are born by God from the womb, who are also destined to be renewed and to glorify their Creator for the name of God's glorious kingdom. Blessed are you, Adonai, renewer of the months." So there's a blessing every time we come upon a new month that can be said up until the 7th day of the month, which in our case starts tonight into tomorrow, that acknowledges this physical reminder, the moon, that expresses where we are in our calendar and the times that we might be reminded that are set times to rejoice, set times to honor God, and that the God directed the moon to renew itself each and every month as this physical reminder of where we are in our calendar and in the life cycle of our own life and seasons. So I think there's this beautiful connection here between the physical, that Shavuot falls within this first week period of the new moon, that this is a moment of renewal, that this is a moment that the Israelites and that we are supposed to mark with a blessing. As a reminder, as we see this new moon appearing once again before our eyes, that we mark it with this moment of blessing. And the last text that I wanted to bring to tie it into how this might connect to Torah. The way that we celebrate Shavuot now is less of an agricultural, physical holiday, and it's more about this moment of revelation, the receiving of Torah. And that's a lofty thing to try to understand or try to kind of wrap our heads around. And I think this text from our Torah kind of hits the nail on the head as to how we might grasp this idea or this concept. So there's a teaching in the book of Deuteronomy that says, surely this instruction, the Torah, these mitzvot that I enjoin upon you this day is not too baffling to you, nor is it beyond reach. It's not in the heavens that you should say, who among us can go up to the heavens and get it for us and impart it to us that we may observe it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who among us can cross to the other side and get it for us and impart it to us that we may observe it? No, the thing is very close to you, in your mouth, in your heart, to observe it. So this idea that we are marking our cycle of the year through the moon, which is a physical reminder, and yet it seems so lofty and in the heavens and far away. And so does this concept of receiving Torah, this kind of magical moment on Mount Sinai, where we're taught that God delivers these teachings to Moses. And this reminder in the Torah reminds us that Torah is actually within each of us, that this moment of revelation occurs within us each and every day, that this moment of celebration of Shavuot is something that we honor every year at this time, and it's something that we hold on to within our hearts, within our minds, within our mouths each and every day of the year. So it's my hope that as we end this Shavuot and begin our Shabbat this week, that we consider the way that Torah is within us. And when we look at the moon this evening, I hope that you will think about the way that Torah is not just in the heavens, but it is right here within us always. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll turn to page 282. We rise in body or spirit for the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 293. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Tonight, the Sukkot Shalom community remembers Bert Powell, Lorelei Jandy, Isabel Bristol, Richard Dubin, Stuart Dubin, John Donnelly, Amparo Yolanda Vargas Abad, Fanny Shapiro, Sarah Harvey, Ted Cohn, Barbara Sharon Doppelt, Doris K. Cohen, Felice Duneif, Newton Minnow, Rachel Denton. Are there any other names that you would like to recall this evening? We turn to page 294 for the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'amad divrach yurtei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha b'rechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'emiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zikronam livracha, may their memories be an abiding blessing.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
You may be seated. Just a few announcements before we conclude our service. I hope you'll enjoy. I hope you'll join us on June 9th. That's next week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. All right. I'm a little ahead of myself. 2 weeks. June 9th, 2 weeks. It will be my last Friday evening Shabbat service here at Sukkot Shalom. I hope you'll join us. The plan is to be in the garden at First Presbyterian Church on 9th and Greenleaf. In the garden, pending good weather. So everyone pray for very nice weather that day, that we can be outside in the garden, and then we hope you'll join us for dinner after, which you can RSVP for via our webpage or in the email. And then we also hope that you'll join us on June 14th for Women's Connection Mixology Mocktail class. So we hope you'll join us for that fun event, one of the last Women Connections events of this season as we head into a new calendar year for the synagogue anyway. That's at 7 p.m. And with that, we will do Kiddush and Motzi afterward in the foyer, so we'll hope you'll stop by and join us for a few minutes. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai lai yai lai lai yai lai 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 lai.
Shabbat Shalom.
See you in the foyer.